Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Rasul al-Kareem. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Thumma amma ba'd. We continue our lessons in the treatise called Usool Sitta by Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala. The last class we took the second principle, the issue of being together and the prohibition of division. The Sheikh, he mentioned the second principle with some evidence from the religion to show the harm of division and the blessings and the fruits of being together. Well, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and yajma'ana ala kitabi wa sunnah wa yu'alija tafriq baynana wallahu musta'an. I know that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala got us together upon the book of the Sunnah and to cure and rid us from division. Amen. The Shaykh, he said, Amr Allah bi-ijtima' fi din. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, he commanded all of us that we gather upon the deen. He said, ijtima' fi din. And here, deen was with alif lam. It means all of the aspects of the religion. All of the aspects of the religion. And the Shaykh, he mentioned the prohibition wa nahi an al-tafarruq or nahi ma'adha an al-tafarruq. And that Allah wa ta'ala, aside from commanding us to gather upon all of the aspects of the religion, he has prohibited us, he has prevented us from tafarruq. He said, Allah wa ta'ala, bayan Allah hada bayan shafiya tam lil awam. Allah wa ta'ala, in a very precise way, made it very clear, and a complete way of explaining for everyone, even the common folk. That is, he made clear the obligation of being together, the fruits of being together on all of the aspects and fronts of the religion, and the evil and the harms and the prohibition of dividing in those aspects. وَنَهَانَا عَنْ تَفَرَّقُوا وَنَهَانَا He said, وَنَهَانَا عَنْ تَفَرَّقُوا كَالَّذِينَ تَفَرَّقُوا قَبْلِنَا. And that Allah wa ta'ala has prohibited us, the Muslims, from arguing and fighting and dividing like the nations that came before us. فَهَلَكُوا. Thus, because of this fighting and art and division, they were destroyed. The Sheikh, he said, I made a mistake in the quote. He said, وَنَهَانَا أَن نَكُونَ كَالَّذِينَ تَفَرَّقُوا. And Allah has prohibited us from being like those who came before us, those who were divided from the prior nations. فَحَلَقُوا, here the Sheikh mentions, this is the result of them fighting, and difference. Fahalaku in the Fasababiyya in the religion and the Arabic language meanings. When this thing is mentioned, this is the reason behind it. So the Sheikh's statement is profound when he says, وَنَهَانَا أَن نَكُونَ كَالَّذِينَ تَفَرَّقُوا مِنْ قَبْلِنَا فَحَلَكُوا. So the prohibition of Tabarakul wa Ta'ala has made it like that in order that we won't be destroyed. We will be successful, we will prosper, we will be strong, and we will be from amongst those who are triumphant in our affairs of this life and the hereafter. But the going against that prohibition is the thing that earns you the destruction. كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أخرجه Imam Abi Dawood, when he said that the Prophet ﷺ, the hadith he collected with the Prophet ﷺ, he said, تَرَكْتُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْضَاءٍ لَيْلُهَا كَنَهَارِهَا. Taraktukum, meaning all of you Muslims, from the Sahaba all the way to the last of the Muslims until the day of judgment. The Prophet said, Taraktukum ala al-bayda'i. I have left you on bayda'i. And this bayda'i in the Arabic language, it is the most extreme, eloquent, and emphasized way of saying something that is very, very white. He didn't use the word bayd or abiyat, he said bayda. Here, Prophet used this word to show that the religion will be clear for those who seek it, that the way of guidance will be clear for those who hold, and then only those who divide, they will be the ones who are destroyed. As the Prophet he said in this hadith, "Taraktukum ala al-bayda'i," and then he described, no matter what situation, that whiteness will be an aid for you, that whiteness will be a light for you, that whiteness will be your way to salvation, whether it be daytime or night, whether it be a little bit of difficulty or ease, whether it be in good times or hard times. The Prophet said, Layluha kanahariha. Here, this ka in the Arabic language is one of the articles that shows tasawi. It shows equality. It shows tamathal, something being similar, something being like. The Prophet said, Layluha kanahariha. The night is bayda, just like the day is bayda. And you can imagine when the people move around in the daytime from the light of the sun, they're able to see. Likewise, if there's no electric, no street lights, no outside lights on the houses, nor outside lights from the cars, if the moon is full, people are able to move about with great direction and great light from the full moon. So Prophet said, he said, Leila kanahariha, showing that people will be guided regardless if they hold to what the Prophet left. And he said, La yaziru anha. Yani la yaziru anha shows an inhiraf, one who will deviate, one who will go from the path. The directions say go straight, you bear left. The directions say sharp right, you turn sharp left. They deviate from the path. He said none will do that, illa halikun, except they will be destroyed. Except they will be destroyed. That's why the Shaykh, he said, fahalaku, talking about those nations before they became destroyed, morally, religiously, economically, and Allah Azza wa Jal punished them in different ways in this life, and the big destruction, the big punishment is to come, that which is on the day of judgment. We ask Allah to protect us from destruction of any kind in this life and the hereafter. Ameen. So the Shaykh, he said, وَنَهَانَا أَنْ يَكُونَ كَالَّذِينَ تَفَرَّقُوا وَاخْتَلَفُوا قَبْلِنَا. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala prohibited us from arguing and dividing. from arguing and dividing, from debating, from differencing, and splitting up. These are like a brother and sister corporation. You can't argue except somebody's going to split. You can't split except there must have been some argument. And this is why they are both prohibited. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala prohibited us from doing this like those nations who did before us, and thus they were destroyed. The Sheikh, he says, وَيَزِيدُهُ فِي وُضُوءٍ مِنْ أَجَبٍ مِنَ الْأُجَاءِ. That Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has made this clear in ways additionally throughout the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet in ways that you can't imagine. Meaning it has been emphasized in so many ways. The obligation of holding together, the obligation of being together, the obligation of staying within the boundaries of the truth and avoiding all the roads and ways of arguing and dividing. But despite that, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, out of His wisdom and His mercy, صار اختلاف في Usool wal fiqh ilman. That Allah has also, on the flip side of that, made differencing, having an opinion separate from your brother, or seeing something not to be correct and taking a different approach, a part of the knowledge when you talk about extracting rules and principles. So you have the prohibition of dividing in the general sense and in the foundations of the religion, the issues of aqidah, the issues of what you believe, the issues of iman, again, that what you believe, the issues of what are the pillars of the religion, the main components of the religion, the issues of the things that are wajib, mandatory in the religion. You can't divide in that. That has to be harmony with regards to those issues of the religion. And to go outside of that and to argue and to fight and to dispute and differ is a great sin, and it leads to destruction. While at the same time, because the minds differ, as a Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, وَمَا ذَاكَ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى وَمَا يَزَالُونَ مُخْتَلِفِينَ وَمَا يَزَالُونَ مُخْتَلِفِينَ إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبِّكَ. And people will never cease to be different. People will never cease to be different. There will never ever be the non-existence of being different on earth. There will always be someone who sees something in another light in opposition to the next man. There will always be some type of differencing and some disputing, except for the one that Allah showers and shows and gives His mercy to. If Allah gives you His mercy, if Allah showers you with His mercy, then you won't differ and fight and argue. That's one meaning. Another meaning is that because Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has made the minds different out of His wisdom, have made the perceptions different, has made the desires, likes, and wants different out of His mercy and His wisdom, then you will always have somebody different. Therefore, this type of differencing, when it comes to the minds, is not a sin because Allah created the minds different. But the sin is when the person takes the mind and the mind conquers the revelation. يجاوز الحد ويجاوز النص بعقولهم فهذا هو هلكوا. When the mind supersedes the revelation, when the mind takes over the revelation, rather than the mind following the revelation, rather than the mind absorbing what it can from the revelation and stopping where it can absorb. When the mind takes over and philosophizes, when the mind takes over and cancels out and comes with something that's from the human side of logic or the experience of the human being up over the fact that Allah revealed something with clear proofs and evidence, then this is what's a sin. But the difference in as it relates to how people process information, when it comes to extracting principles or solving problems, or maybe even explaining what they understand from something that's delivered, then this in itself, Allah has made this a part of knowledge. Therefore, when you talk about the books of how to understand the religion, when it comes to principles, rules and regulations, when it comes to civil injunctions, when it comes to how to understand something that can have 4 or 5 grammatical meanings, then this in itself, Allah has made this different a type of knowledge out of His mercy. So the difference in the Tabaraka wa Ta'ala talked about in the beginning is prohibited all the way across the board, except that it's the differencing of the mind. It's the differencing of the color. It's the differencing of the taste. It's the difference of perception. And as long as that doesn't spill over into changing the foundations of the religion, into changing the beliefs of Islam, and it doesn't spill over into changing that which is agreed upon, that this is a certain way or a certain style in the religion, then it has become a type of knowledge that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has given us in order that we may solve problems and that we may extract and show the beauty of the differences of the mind, while the differencing with that which is already fixated, the differencing with that which is fundamental in the religion, the differencing as it relates to what can't be changed, the difference in as it relates to what's written in stone, the difference in as it relates to anything that has to do with the belief system, and that which is conditional for a person to have his belief intact and accepted, then those are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the mighty sublime, has prohibited us from. And the difference in that cause strife and bloodshed and hostilities and rancor between people, these are the type of differences that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has prohibited. The wholesome difference that doesn't leave any animosity. You see something one way, I see something another way, but it's not in the belief system. It's not in the things that are agreed upon. It's not in the things that are tied to how every Muslim must believe. It's not in the things that are tied to the mere speech of Allah, what Allah actually has said verbatim, as they say. It's not tied to what the Prophet has explained. The difference is in, does the word masaha mir, here in the verse, the word masaha in Arabic means to touch. So if it appears in the verse, does it mean the literal touch? Or does it mean an underlying meaning of touch? Does it mean touch by the hand? Or does it mean touch with something else? These are parts of the issue of difference that's allowed. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the issue of junub in the Quran, which means in some cases that which is impurity, does it mean impurity in this case? Or if it takes the meaning of someone that's jambeh, he's close to you, like a next door neighbor, does it carry that meaning? Or does it carry the meaning of someone that's far away? These are the issues that's allowed for the differencing. Or if the thing has 2 or 3 possible meanings, which one appears to be most strongest and logical, then these are from amongst some of the ways that Allah has made it allowed to differ in the religion. These are from some of the ways that the difference in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has made difference in knowledge as opposed to difference in being a sin. And this is what the Shaykh was trying to explain in the second principle of Usool Sitta. The Shaykh, he says, وَصَارَ اجْتِمَاعِ الَّذِي يَكُونُ زِنْدِيقًا أَوْ مَجْنُونَ. Yani, the coming together that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentioned in the beginning for all of the Muslims. And we said, where he said, ad-deen, the issue of ad-deen, which is definite here in English, in Arabic, ma'ruf, ma'rifatun, mean it's inclusive of everything in the religion, then this term of everything religiously that we should come together on, whether it be the beliefs of the angels, whether it be the descriptions and names and attributes of Allah, whether it be the qualities of those people that will enter the paradise, whether it be the scales on the day of judgment, those things are inclusive in the meaning of ijtima' fi din. They're inclusive in how we should come together and harmonize, whether it means physically together or as it relates to the issue of coming together theoretically. I'm in one place, you're in another place. I'm in New Jersey, you're in Los Angeles. We're not together. But if we both have the same belief theoretically, then as they say, but I'm with you, but they say, but you're with me in my heart. Meaning that no matter what you do, we're inseparable when it comes to theory. And if you were to bring us together physically, then there will be no fighting and differencing over that issue because we're together physically as well as theoretically. So this is the meaning of Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, Amara bi ijtima' fi din. He commands us to be together in the issues of the deen. Physically, theoretically, supportively, and with not being at odds with one another. And this is the main part of the being together. But here, when the Shaykh he says, wasara ijtima' Zindiqan al Majnoon, then this means now it has been flipped in the time that the Shaykh lived in. And remember, the Shaykh, he wrote this treatise during his time, which is, subhanallah, hundreds of years ago. The Shaykh is saying, during the time that he lives, the issue of coming together on the creed, the issue of coming together on the belief, people view it as someone coming to turn you away from the true religion, or that you are a person that have become crazy or you're deranged. Where the gathering upon the true religion is the true religion. The gathering upon that which Allah commanded you is what should be sought. But in the Shaykh's time, he said it has become the opposite. If you gather upon the issues of the religion as Allah has commanded you, then the people view you as Zindiqan al Majnoon. Zindiqan al Majnoon. Zindiqan al Majnoon. Zindiq, the word Zindiqa. It means someone who he's hypocritical, meaning he claims one thing but he does another. He enters Islam with a pretense to pollute the concepts and the beliefs of the Muslims, while he'll do it in a sneaky way. He'll implement something or influence someone or bring some type of foreign concept or teaching a little bit at a time with a certain group of people over here in secret over there. Until now, the effects of this, you start to see take hold in the ranks of the Muslim. This is called a zindiq. It's another way of saying that the person is a munafiq, but that this person really came clearly to Islam to destroy Islam. This person really came to Islam just to destroy Islam. And they said Majnoon, we all understand, means this person has lost his mind. Something is wrong with him. Something is wrong with her. This is not normal. He's on earth, but his brain is out of space. He's talking about something that's far-fetched from the reality. This is what they mean. He's either plagued with some type of super telestial, a being that's not like an earthly being that we can understand. So they've taken the people who try to stick to the command of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala by holding to the religion, holding to the creed, the iman, the things of belief, those things that are agreed upon, those things that we should not differ upon, and they say these people are zindiqin, they are extreme. These people are zindiqin, they are terrorists. These people are zindiqin, they are agents. These people are zindiqin, they are not real Muslims, they're kuffar. Like many of the groups, they deem the people who hold to the Quran and Sunnah to be disbelievers. Many of the groups. If you follow the teachings of Sheikh Muhammad Nasr ad-Din al-Albani, these people are kuffar, they would say. If you follow the teachings of any scholar that's been influenced by the teachers of Saudi Arabia, then you are a kafir. If you don't give pledge of allegiance to this particular group, then they say you are a kafir, meaning you are outside of Islam. So they make you zindiqan, while they are the ones who are zindiqan. They make you an agent, or a person who's only come to destroy the true religion, while you are holding to the true religion, while you are upon the way of those who hold to the book as Allah has commanded. They hold to the sunnah as Allah has commanded. They hold to the way of the Sahaba as Allah has commanded. And they avoid the difference in aqidah and the creed. They avoid the difference in iman as Allah has commanded. They avoid the difference in that which is truth from falsehood. They avoid the difference in that which is agreed upon. But they take those people and they say these people are zindiqin, or they're crazy. And this is what Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He has mentioned in many parts of the Quran, such as when He says, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Ya Ahl al-Kitab, لِمَ تَلْبِسُ الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُ الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. O people of the book, why do you mix the truth with the falsehood? Why do you switch stuff around in order to cover up the truth, in order to deceive the people, while you know the truth, you know the reality, you know better? Now, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala prohibit this, as this is one of the things that causes confusion, and confusion causes differences. The very thing that Allah prohibited. As the Tabaraka wa Ta'ala also said, وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And do not mix the truth with falsehood. Do not make deception about the issue. Do not take the falsehood to cover up the truth while you know better. Because this is one of the ingredients. This is one of the components of the division. This is a branch of tafriq, a branch of the breaking into sects. This is a branch of ikhtilaf, arguing and fighting, which leads to what Prophet said, لا يزيغ عنها إلا حالك. None will deviate from holding. None will deviate from the true religion. None will deviate from avoiding, arguing, debating. As Imam Ahmad Salah Salmat fi Deen. No arguing and debating the religion, meaning on falsehood. These are the things that will protect you from being destroyed. And this is the people that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has warned us against when He said, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ تَفَرَّقُوا وَاخْتَلَفُوا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْبَيِّنَاتِ. Do not be like the people. The first thing they did, they argued and fought. First thing they did, they had commotion between them. Then that commotion between them made them sever. This part of the brick fell from the building. Another brick over here came out of the building. Another portion of the wall cracked. This group said, okay, I'm out of here. This group said, you know, we're going to do our own thing. This group said, you know what, we can do it better. Why? Because of ikhtilaf. Ikhtilaf al-shadid. Arguing and fighting, arguing and fighting, arguing and fighting. When Allah said, وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, you know what the truth is. So what's the issue of arguing and fighting? There's no excuse to say we don't know, or as the people like to say, well, everybody's on different levels. Allahu musta'an. The Shaykh has said over and over and over, and we have covered the first and second principle only, that Allah has made these things so clear that even the average person can understand. So where's the issue of everybody's on different levels? In order to disobey Allah, we just throw the trump card, everybody's on different levels. Everybody's not on the same level. Everybody's not on different levels. Everybody's on different levels. Everybody's not on the same level. Everybody's not the same. Everybody's level is different. Everybody's not on the same level. Everybody's level is different. You can't get no lower than awam. You can't get no lower than the common folk. The general people. And this even includes somebody who's not that bright. It's inclusive in the meaning of awam. He's far from a genius. He's far from being very eloquent and educated. He's just average. So he's made it amazingly so clear for the average person to understand. So what about everybody else that's plus that? More than that. Then you have no excuse. You're playing games with the religion. You're playing games with the fire. You yourself are from those people who are mixing haq with batil. And this mixing the haq with batil. Haq, truth. Batil, falsehood. Mixing the poison with the honey is one of the ingredients of the arguing and debating. And the arguing and debating is the thing that causes the division. And none would divide. None would argue and debate. None would leave away from the baydah, the clarity that the Prophet left us upon, except you will be destroyed like the prior nations. فنسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يهدينا إلى الحق ونسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن لا يزيغ قلوبنا ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يحق الحق الحق ويبطل الباطل إنه سميع الدعاء. نسأل الله تبارك وتعالى, the great Lord of the great throne, to not cause our hearts to deviate. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the truth triumphant, clear to see, that it is the thing that stands out in the earth, that it crushes the falsehood. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show His mercy upon us. Verily, He is the one who hears. Verily, He is the one who has power over all things. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala rasulih al-kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi sallam tasliman kathira. This concludes the second of the 6 principles of Al-Imam Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Wahhab fi Usool Sitta. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يرحمه ويبارك فيه وأن يجزيه عن الإسلام والمسلمين. We ask Allah to bless him, to forgive him, and to give him a great reward for what he's contributed to Islam and the Muslims. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Voiceover on. Studio. Button. ADD new song. Button. ADD news. Play. No song matches your search criteria. Power off. Button.